is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Off the top, Vice President Kamala Harris in the spotlight, speaking for the first time one day after President Joe Biden announced he was exiting the race for president. Harris has raised nearly $50 million since announcing that she would seek the Democratic presidential nomination. It follows President Biden's monumental decision Sunday to no longer seek re-election. CBS News Miami's Nicole Skenga reports from Washington, D.C.
Vice President Kamala Harris paid tribute to President Biden in her first public appearance since his momentous decision not to seek re-election and Harris's subsequent decision to enter the race.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched.
In a letter posted online, he wrote, "It is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." Shortly after, the president endorsed Harris, and a growing list of Democrats followed suit.
She has been a strong leader on the national stage. She is someone that's going to be a unique candidate when she goes up against Donald Trump.
Harris can't officially become the nominee until more than 4,600 Democratic National Convention delegates have their say. An open convention is still possible next month if there are challengers.
There's no coronation. There's going to be a process. But look, part of the process is getting endorsements, getting the delegates.
Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas said it was no coincidence Biden waited until right after the Republican National Convention to step aside.
The Democrats timed this announcement to try to counteract any bounce that comes out of the convention.
Harris's campaign says it took in nearly $50 million from grassroots supporters Sunday. That's the biggest fundraising total for any candidate this year. Nicole Skenga, CBS News, Washington.
Florida Democrats showing their support for Vice President Kamala Harris and her presidential bid. At least 5 Florida Democrats joined together in a Zoom call to highlight Harris's accomplishments as vice president.
I'm also extremely proud to enthusiastically put my support behind Vice President Kamala Harris, easily the most accomplished and qualified candidate in either party.
Well, the state of this race has changed. Our mission has not. Beat Donald Trump. And Vice President Kamala Harris is the woman for the job.
The Democrats also emphasized her strengths as a presidential nominee and took a moment to thank President Joe Biden for his work in the past 4 years. They called his decision to step down from the campaign courageous, selfless, and an honorable move. We are also hearing from Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott. The senator mentioned how Biden stepping down makes the Democratic Party a threat to our democracy.
The Democrats have all sat there and said, oh, Republicans and Donald Trump, they're a threat to democracy. Guess what just happened? The guy that won the primary on the Democrat side, the leadership of the Democrat Party, made sure he quit. That's the threat to democracy. Yeah. I mean, he went through, right or wrong, he went through and he won the primaries. And these guys said, oh, well, because they can't win now, not because he's incompetent, because he can't win, they wanted to get rid of him. That's more of a threat to democracy than anything you could ever accuse a Republican or Trump of.
Senator Scott also said while he disagrees with the president's positions, he says President Joe Biden cares about the country. Vice President Kamala Harris has quickly emerged as the top contender for the presidential nomination. So far, nearly 2/3 of Democrats in the House and at least 28 Democratic senators have endorsed her. Some state delegates have already pledged their support. CBS News Miami's Nancy Cordes is at the White House with more.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, solemnly swear.
Kamala Harris made history 4 years ago, becoming the first woman, the first black person, and the first Asian American to ascend to the vice presidency. Now, she's looking to make history again.
And when we fight, we win.
The 59-year-old from California began her career as a prosecutor, winning statewide office in 2010 to become California's Attorney General, then winning a coveted Senate seat in 2016.
Can you think of any laws that give government the power to make decisions about the male body?
Her sharp questioning as a member of the Judiciary Committee drew national attention. And just 3 years into her first term, she made a bid for the Democratic presidential nomination. After she dropped out, she was tapped by Joe Biden to be his running mate.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
As Vice President, Harris has been tasked with leading efforts to address migration to the southern border, making her a target for Republican critiques.
Appointing Kamala Harris to oversee the border is like appointing Bernie Madoff to oversee your retirement plan.
She has also been the administration's fiercest advocate when it comes to reproductive rights.
Donald Trump thinks the government is in a better position to tell women what's in their best interest.
Over the past few weeks, as Biden faced mounting pressure to step aside, she remained staunchly supportive.
Joe Biden is our nominee.
He, in turn, insisted she is ready to do his job if called upon.
What is it about her attributes and her accomplishments over the last 4 years that make her ready to serve on day one if necessary?
First of all, the way she's handled the issue of freedom of women's bodies to have control over their bodies. She is qualified to be president. That's why I picked her.
Nancy Cordes, CBS News, the White House.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look at downtown Miami, a soggy Monday for most of us across South Florida. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera joins us with a look ahead.
Yeah, the good news is a lot of that heavy rain has now dissipated, so we're looking much better for the rest of the evening, and it's cooled off temperatures nicely. No heat advisory today, temps in the 70s right now. We did have a pocket of very heavy rainfall across portions of Broward County. That has been allowed to expire. We actually had a flash flood warning up in northwestern Broward. Still seeing some light to moderate showers continuing here across portions of Miami into downtown, the beach, and into Coral Gables as well. But at this point, no alerts. There is the rainfall, and this is how much we've gotten so far today. Mostly a west of 95 situation. There's that little bubble of 2 to 3 inches over the last few hours here through Coral Springs down towards Tamarack. But that is done. Now we'll continue to push this through the next few hours as far as rain tracker. Still depicting a few showers, nothing torrential, but it's a band of storms that is offshore that's trying to back into us a little bit here with additional rain showers. So the umbrella is still needed for the next several hours. Keep rain chances at around 20% though, and then diminish those as we head through the rest of the evening with temperatures in the lower 80s. So here's the tropical moisture depicted in the purple. That's what's on top of us right now. But as you watch the clock there, heading into already tomorrow night and into Wednesday, we're going to be in a much drier setup here. So rain chances won't be zero, but they'll be much lower than even tomorrow. We're still holding at about 50%. In fact, by the afternoon, you'll see plenty of showers and storms. Now, the mechanism is still the same as far as how we're triggering these. We still have to have the heating of the day and the sea breezes. This is not anything organized that's on top of us that's just going to continue raining every few minutes here. That's not the case, but there you see a few pockets of heavier weather, and then we introduce that drier pattern for midweek and for the rest of the week. In fact, beginning on Wednesday in the tropics, all is quiet. Saharan dust still out there calling the shots, and no tropical systems expected. We're likely now to get nicely into the month of August without an additional storm in the Atlantic. No complaints there. As far as the forecast for tomorrow, still looking at rain showers, and this won't be just an afternoon event. I think we'll have showers like we did earlier this morning, some pockets of localized heavier rainfall. And then rain chances coming down, particularly after 5, 6 o'clock. That's when that dry air begins to work in, and we'll start shutting off rain chances thereafter, with rain chances down to 30% between Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll slowly increase those towards the end of the week and into next weekend. Temperatures all the while in the low 90s, and we'll probably start getting some heat advisories with the feels-like temperatures by late week.
New details this afternoon. It is following a frightening stabbing at Miami International Airport. CBS News Miami's Peter Dinch has the breakdown.
We are learning more details about a brutal attack from Saturday night at Miami International Airport, in which Miami-Dade police tell us the 17-year-old female was stabbed 18 times. She was recovering here at Jackson Memorial Hospital. 29-year-old Alexander Love appeared before a judge in bond court, where he faces charges including attempted murder with a deadly weapon. It was around 11:30 Saturday night inside Terminal J, where police say Love, in an unprovoked attack, stabbed the victim. Circuit Judge Mindy Glazer spoke about it in bond court. The victim is now in critical condition.
He attacked the victim, who's 17 years old, with a long butcher knife. 18 times on his arms, shoulders, neck, face, and head, and legs, while the victim sitting on the floor eating a meal. Sir, you are ordered to stay away from a 17-year-old child whose initials are DJ. No contact with the victim, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties. No contact with the victim through social media or other electronic means. And you must stay at least 500 feet away from the victim, his home, school, and place of employment at all times. I'm also ordering him to stay away from Miami International Airport, where this offense occurred.
Police say it's not known why Love attacked the victim. He is being held without bond. Coincidentally, both are from the state of Ohio. We will have much more on this story coming up at 5. At Jackson Memorial Hospital, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, the Secret Service director is in the hot seat on Capitol Hill. What she just admitted following the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. The head of the Secret Service was called to Capitol Hill this morning. It's to answer questions about the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed Director Kimberly Cheadle, and that was after the attack following widespread criticism that the agency did not properly prepare for Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Some lawmakers have now called on for her to resign.
The Secret Service's solemn mission is to protect our nation's leaders. On July 13th, we failed. As a director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse.
She refused to provide detailed information about what happened because of ongoing investigations. Several of the committee members became frustrated with her for not sharing more about what happened and what went wrong. Here's a look at what is coming up all new on CBS News Miami at 5 o'clock. As Vice President Kamala Harris steps into the race for the White House, will she be able to convince undecided Americans to vote for her? We take a closer look at what the focus of younger voters is tonight at 5. That's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a good day.